Capricorn, how are you? Thank you for watching. Actually, I don't really have a lot to say, so I'm going to go ahead and just get started. We start with a love reading and then move into a second general reading. So this is going to be your love reading for March 2016 for Capricorn. Here we go. Oops. Alright, Capricorn, here you are. King of Pentacles, true to his element. I'm getting a sense that you are feeling perhaps either quite generous or perhaps like maybe there's a lot of giving going on. Maybe too much at times. You sort of bending a little bit too much. Maybe, you tend to be a very giving sign. You tend to be a very service-oriented, earth signs usually very service-oriented. And I'm wondering if there's not some of that going on, and some of that's maybe taking a little bit too much from you, a little bit too much out of your soul, out of your heart, out of your, your energy, right? It's just pulling too much out of you. I do see you undergoing some sort of a change that's significant. I mean, all four of these cards here, I'm seeing some significant changes and a new head on your shoulders, right? Or a new way of looking at things. Something is going to come into play. Now, I didn't pull the Ace of Swords, but the Ace of Swords has been really present in a lot of these readings. And I think there's like something to do with a new moon or something and coming in, and probably in this month, in February. And I think there's going to be a lot of truth being shared among a lot of people, and a lot of honesty and a lot of clarity and understanding. And I think you're no exception, that there will be something, some news of something that comes into your life, and it's going to be quite rapid, right? It's going to be quite like a shock almost, right? The Tower is usually very in very quickly and out very quickly as well. It's just comes in, it stirs things up, and then it leaves. And it can prove challenging, it can prove frustrating for you, and I honestly think it's going to maybe cause you to put a little bit, maybe even too much emphasis on your work. If you're in a relationship and there becomes some news of something, probably in regards to your partner or someone that you're dating, perhaps you learn something about them, or they tell you, if you're just dating and someone tells you how they feel, it may or may not be good news. I don't really see it going either way, although I do see the Ten of Swords here, which tells me it's something that's going to affect you greatly. This doesn't always have to be a negative card though, but it is something that is going to, again, require a lot of mental energy from you. And I see you maybe going into a little bit of perhaps a retreat on some level, where you sort of go into, I don't want to say full-on denial, because that's not exactly what it is, but you just sort of, okay, you refocus. And again, I don't know if this is going to be about, if someone that you were kind of saying that maybe you're kind of seeing that you're not really that interested in tells you how madly in love with you they are. Or it could go the opposite. Someone that you're crazy about, tells you that they'd rather end the relationship. It could go both ways. So either way, though, I do see a refocusing and a harnessing of your own energy as much as you can, despite the effect that this news brings, despite the fact that the truth, this moment of enlightenment, that is going to require a lot of energy from you. And this is going to directly affect you. I do think it's going to be something done or said to you, as opposed to necessarily you doing the talking, you doing the sharing. And as the Fool, it could put you in a precarious situation, an emotionally precarious situation. You Capricorns, you do like to have control, right? You do like to have everything going a certain way, everything lined up, you can hear everything lined up, everything organized. You do like to have control over the things in your life, and this could put you in a very vulnerable position, in a state that maybe is quite opposite from your nature, right? King and Fool, they're very opposite. And ultimately, there is a sense of the grass is greener on the other side, right? If you're caught in a situation, that you don't want to be in terms of love, if you're just dating someone and they express their feelings for you and you're maybe not quite there, but maybe there is something there to be considered, maybe there is something substantial, and the way that you think it should be, or the ideas that you have about how it could be with someone else, or how it could be in a different situation. Maybe it's worth, expressing gratitude for the things that you do have and the blessings that you are receiving, and that this person is willing to become vulnerable with you and to share a truth with you. And, I don't necessarily see you becoming vulnerable and you putting yourself in that suspended state, right? I see that more happening to you. But just the news of that, sort of becoming like a shocking thing that puts you in a situation that you might not want to be in. Let me see here. I've actually been pulling out more cards lately. So this is a standard spread. It's called the Spirit Guide Spread. And, none of the positions really have a particular meaning. There are versions of this where they do, but the way I read it, there's just more flow and more flexibility for me as a reader. And instead of just pulling out one card, I've decided I want to start pulling out 3 cards at the end, just to give us all a little bit more information about the reading. So yes, well, let me start with the Page of Swords. You know, almost a similar character here as well. Again, someone with a new understanding, with a new head on the shoulders, right? So these three cards are very similar in nature, right? It's that new mindset. It's, oh, like now that you have all the information about something, about someone, maybe your partner, your husband, your wife has shared some information with you about the way that they feel or about something that they want. And yes, it might come in as a bit of a shock. I honestly think that this truth is going to be something quite significant. And it is going to really shake up your world. And it might prove challenging. And those challenges, you know, they are affecting you. I'm not trying to make light of the situation, because I think it is going to be something prominent, and it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It's just something that's going to affect you greatly, and it's going to require a lot of mental energy. You know, the Ten of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, and again, I love when you have a lot of pentacles for Capricorn, my earth sign. It just tells me that you're really in your element, and that there are things going on this month that, while you might feel out of control, and you might have this new understanding, and you might have a different outlook on life, and that there might be some communication as well. Keep that in mind. So communication definitely is in the cards for you, even here with this as well. I forgot where I was going with that. But all in all, you know, it's going to prove confusing for you. Again, you're not going to be in your natural state as much as, you know, yes, you have a lot of pentacles. So I think there's going to actually be a lot of focus on work for you. And we'll hopefully see a little bit more of that in the general. And I do think, again, maybe perhaps a little bit of a state of denial or a little bit of retreat on your part, so that you can sort of step back, reanalyze as objectively as you possibly can, because you've been, you know, thrown from, you know, the King to the Fool and the Page, because of this Tower and because of something that comes into your life quite rapidly. And it might require you to give more of yourself, require you to give more energy, to give more effort. Something perhaps maybe you're not entirely comfortable with, which means you do go into your Capricorn selves, and you continue to do life the way you feel comfortable, despite the fact of something maybe uncomfortable coming into your life. And ultimately, you know, there are blessings for you. There are good things for you. Ten of Pentacles, a card of overall warmth and, you know, in inviting things, you know, things that come into your life. For me, this card is a card of family, and, you know, perhaps you do retreat a little bit and seek the comfort of those closest to you, right? Closest in your circle. Could be friends as well. Doesn't necessarily have to be family, but maybe someone that you respect, someone older than you, for advice. This isn't necessarily an advice card, but I'm just sort of getting that vibe here. And you, King of Pentacles, so strong, so sturdy, being thrown in a position where you don't really know what to do. You don't really know what to think. You don't know how to handle the situation. I don't see you wanting to hurt somebody. I don't see you wanting to throw anybody out in the cold. You know, so if this is someone you're just casually dating, I think there is something there, but it just might move a little bit faster than you thought it was going to. But again, a word of advice to just not, you know, toss it to the curb so quickly, because there might be something quite real there. Okay? So, okay. Capricorn, interesting love reading for you. Now for a general reading for you, Capricorn, March 2016. I am seeing you undergoing a period of healing here, Three of Swords. Some period of closure perhaps, and not necessarily the closure itself, but getting over something that happened in the past and finding, some new sense of reawakening, right? Some new sense of rebirth and feeling refreshed and feeling like you have a new take, a new outlook on life. Now, here you are, again, a page of Pentacles. I'm seeing, the Fool, the Page of Swords, Page of Pentacles. It shows me that you really are taking hold of this new chapter, and you're curious about it, you're excited about it. Pages have very exciting energy. They're very adventurous in general. They are, they have a lot to offer and a lot to give, but they still also have a lot to learn. You are in a phase where maybe you have a lot to learn. There's a lot of things about life, about your career, about your partnerships that you still, you need to acquire. We're always acquiring knowledge all the time. So to have a page here, it just tells me you're after the healing, after the reawakening, in regards to something. It looks to me like you've actually been moving on from something, moving on into something. If you, again, I'm going to tie it into the relationships just quickly, and then I'll tie it into other things. If you were single for a while, you might be moving into something more committed. Okay, so now for work, you might have even changed locations, changed jobs, and now you're moving into something more stable, more able to provide for you in the way that you need to be provided for, financially and otherwise. And the fact that we have it's interesting, Four of Wands, Justice, and the Hierophant, all cards of one, stability, higher purpose. For me, this is a card of marriage. That's why I tied it into the love area, but it can also mean stability and foundations in your career, and finding balance within your career, and finding a good, nice little sweet spot there where you feel safe. And Justice, contractual agreements, coming into negotiations and finding balance and receiving blessings in your life as well, where you are being compensated, maybe not financially, but in other ways as well. Financially, yes, but other ways as well, where you are being compensated perhaps for some hardship that you've gone through, right? If you've gone through a heartbreak recently, or you've gone through some sort of disappointment, if you were fired from a new job perhaps, and now you're moving into something new, or you had to leave because your partner needed to relocate for work, or however it applies to you, some disappointment, some sorrow, some sadness that you have, is being rectified by the universe, that you will have a place, you will have balance in your life in some area. And the universe isn't going to just let you leave out in the cold. You know, a lot of times these heartbreaks and these sorrows are truly lessons. They're lessons that put us back in the page position, right? They put us back in a position of humility, where we become humbled and we realize just how vulnerable we truly are, and how enlightening that experience can be, and how refreshing it can be to know that maybe there is a greater purpose for us, and we might not have full control over the course of our life. And for Capricorns, that might be a difficult thing to know. That might be a difficult thing to succumb to, is that we can only control our life up to a certain point. And at that certain point, the universe intervenes, and it, has to do with others' actions and things that we don't see coming, or there's no way for us to preempt those things because we just didn't even know that was a possibility. And that is the universe intervening, and it all is, I believe what you want, I believe it all has a greater purpose, okay? And the Hierophant as well, Hierophant indicating institutions, a very institutional card. Capricorn, you, Saturn, again, foundations, traditions, and things bigger than ourselves. The Hierophant indicates that bigger purpose, that bigger picture for us in our life, and things coming to fruition as well. Now, interesting, the Six of Cups sort of has a strange place here, to be honest with you. To me, it's sort of like maybe this has something to do with the past coming to present, getting over something of the past. Or it could just be something that we have fond feelings about that made us feel vulnerable, that put us in an uncomfortable spot. I think there's Capricorn, you work hard. You're one of the workhorses of the zodiac, right? You are more than capable of putting your head down and going to work and creating a life, creating things, and creating outcomes that you want. This month is no exception. You had the Eight of Pentacles in the last reading, and now the Ten of Wands, both cards of work, of obligation, of responsibility and duties. And despite what's going on, you and your ability to produce and make things happen and continue to work toward that next chapter in your life. You don't necessarily enjoy being in this page state, right? So it's important for you to acquire the knowledge, to get into those higher levels of existence, higher levels of understanding, and you do, and you will, and there's no reason why you won't have what it is you put your mind to. Okay, these are blessings. Hierophant, justice, judgment, they are blessings. They are things coming to fruition, things that you are being owed from others, from the universe, right? The scales balance. So where there was some injustice in your life, where something wasn't fair, you will receive more than your fair share of bounty because of that. And the Hierophant, it might have something to do with some institution, a marriage, it could be a divorce, a job, it could be a layoff, or getting fired, or quitting because some reason, some moral standard that didn't live up to your standards. And whatever it is, you will feel enlightened, right? You will have that new head on your shoulders, without a doubt. Page of Swords, Page of Wands, the Fool, the Hanged Man. You are in for something significant, changing the way you think. Well, I mean, when a Lovers comes out, it's hard not to associate that with a love relationship. I mean, that's like the overall essence of this. So even if this was a completely financial reading and the Lovers comes out, it tells me that sometimes love just gets in the way, right? Love is going to be prominent for you this month. And honestly, again, with this, the heartbreak and the state perhaps of being in a vulnerable position, it's going to leave you feeling dissatisfied, which is why you work hard, which is why you put your head down and you create the things that you're good at. You put yourself in a state of productivity. But again, you know, you have, with that last reading, I'm trying to reference that last reading, you might be shaken, you might be thrown, there might be some curveball thrown your way, right? Or the sticks stuck in the spokes of your bicycle, and you might be hurled into something perhaps quite rapidly, but ultimately you are now being blessed with the Lovers, right? Some injustice will be paid, and I assume you will be compensated in terms of love, in terms of a partner. If you're in an established relationship, a marriage, a committed situation long-term, your partner doing something, your partner being there, some sort of reaffirmation of your love, some renewal of that love, and finding a new level of your relationship, a new, deeper understanding of that relationship. And I think this actually, I'm getting it both ways, your energy and their energy. So the two of you together here, very much focused on the relationship, okay? So new heightened levels of emotional connection, of mental connection, and maybe even physical connection as well. If, you know, your sex life has sort of taken a nosedive, or something has happened, you know, causing you to work a lot or them to work a lot and things just aren't there, I think this will be a coming together for you in light of some new information that comes in. Okay, so overall, more of a love reading entirely, but can apply to other ways as well. Okay, to apply this in terms of personal beliefs, because the Lovers can also indicate the relationship we have with ourselves. And the relationship we have with ourselves undergoing some sort of heartbreak and moving into something new and feeling that, being in that state of vulnerability, but also an enlightening, like refreshing phase too, to sort of get us back on track. A reestablishment of what it is you believe, what it is you truly want out of your life, you know, the institution of your life. What is it that you want? Partner-wise, career-wise, finance-wise, lifestyle-wise, just everything. What is it that you want, and how do you feel that you can go about attaining that? And you, whatever that is, whatever those decisions are that you say, okay, well, this is what I need to do, because I'm falling up short, right? I'm coming up short. It's not quite everything that I expected, or it's not quite everything I wanted. So I go to work. I go to work and I make it happen. And you can, and you will, and you do. So beautiful reading. Other than that, I just some things going on that you might not be able to preempt or prepare for, but ultimately very, very beautiful reading, and I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you.